Wanted to do a video on one of my favorite sable species. I find this one is perhaps a little overlooked. This is Sabal Mexicana. Sometimes you'll see it referred to as the Texas sable or Sabal texana, but the actual name, correct name, is Sabal Mexicana. So this palm grows from the Rio Grande Valley, so like the southernmost tip of Texas, down into Mexico. Goes all the way down to Nicaragua, and pretty common palm down there. Now, why do I like this palm? Well, it basically looks like a giant sable palmetto. It may not, be like the rock stars of the sable world, like the Urson or even the Cossierum, but these are actually pretty impressive palms. These things get beefy. They have very thick trunks. It's known as being, kind of like a bigger, wider version of a palmetto. They can handle dry temperatures, or not dry temperatures, drought better than palmetto can. As far as cold hardiness, I'm not going to say that there's a definitive number, but down into the teens, if you're in a southern zone, definitely into the teens Fahrenheit, maybe even down into single digits. I'm sure there's people that have claimed that or had that happen here in Texas, because we have had some pretty cold winters, and the further north you go, the colder it gets. These are actually becoming more popular in my area. They grow them down in the Rio Grande Valley, and then they field dig them and bring them up. If you're looking at buying like a field dug sable, like a palmetto, they can be transplanted, but what you want to look for is what's called a regenerated, and basically is when they remove them out of the ground, most of the roots are gone. They trim off almost all the fronds. They call it a hurricane cut, and they'll ship them up like that, and you just buy them like that with plastic wrapped around the root ball. But if you get a regenerated one, that's where they brought it back, put it into like a large pot, and let it grow on for a year, so it's regenerated its roots. So that's what you want to do. Aside from the fact that Sabal Mexicana is a bigger, beefier version of palmetto, they tend to hold on to their boots longer. So that also adds to kind of like the girth factor. Most people report, and if you look at photos, the petioles on them, and that tend to be longer than a palmetto. So that's basically like the branch, if you want to call it that, where the frond attaches to the palm. And I think that gives it a more of a tropical look. As the palm grows and it starts to grow up, those petioles will shorten, and then it'll just end up looking more along the lines of a very large Sabal palmetto. The seeds on these are many times larger. So if you see what looks like a really large palmetto and you see the seeds and they're huge, well, it's likely a Mexicana. Now, as far as growth rate, most sables people will say are slow, maybe outside of like Cossierum or Dominguensis. But I've actually found these to be pretty fast growers. I mean, this was just a strap leaf palm last year. It had 4 or 5 leaves. I bought this at the John Ferry Garden. They have a bunch of Sabal Mexicanas up there. And it's already a couple feet tall. The fronds are a little bit different than when you grow like a palmetto. The palmettos I've grown tended to have more, each leaf segment wasn't quite as narrow and dissected, I guess you could say. So yeah, I mean, for me, they're growing pretty well. So I'm going to give this a medium rating. We'll see how they are once they're in the ground. I just planted this maybe a couple weeks ago, and so by the end of summer or midsummer, I'll be able to tell. I can compare it to some of the other staples I've had. But if you're into big, giant palms, can take some cold, can take full sun, and can handle some drought, then I mean, this is definitely one you want to try. So that's Sabal Mexicana. Thanks for watching.